V RMS square. RMS square. So this becomes another thing that we can associate with. Okay. What else can we write? See, mass basically is the number of, if we have mass of 1 mole or 1 molecule into n, we can also write this as PV is equal to mass of 1 particle into number of particles V RMS square. So these are the 3 derivations. Okay, we have to remember these 3 derivations. So is this understood? So this is how we will express the pressure of a gas. Pressure of a gas is basically equal to the pressure that is experienced by the walls of the container in which the gas is contained. So this is the derivation for the pressure of gas. I hope this clarifies. We will do a lot of numericals on this one and get the concepts clarified. Okay, so pressure of the gas is equal to, if we this is the rho is basically the density of gas. Okay, Vrms is basically the root mean square velocity. Vrms is basically the root mean square velocity. Again, here also, if we decode this one, this is m is basically the mass of the gas, V is the volume of the gas. Okay, here also the mass of 1 molecule of the gas, the small letter m is equal to mass of 1 molecule of gas, and n is basically number of molecules of the gas. Okay, so these 3 formulas are important. Make a note of it and you can take a snapshot of the same. If you have any doubts or questions about this, you can post it in the comment section and clarify the same. If I get the time, I will certainly look into it and make sure that those doubts are clarified. Okay, thank you so much for your time today. Alright, we will move on with kinetic theory of gases, and we will talk about the derivation of pressure of gas, how to calculate the pressure of a gas. Now, what do we mean by pressure of a gas? Pressure of a gas is basically measured by the pressure that is experienced by its walls which is keeping it, or rather the container walls. Okay, so let's say there is a container. Basically, let's say this is the container. Here we have a container. Okay, now this container, basically, if we take the origin, okay, so in this direction is x-axis, this is y-axis, and this is z-axis. Okay, so we have x-axis in this direction, y, and this is z-axis. Okay, now when you talk about the origin point, what will happen is, so let's say we have basically a gas molecule. It is moving with certain amount of velocity. This gas molecule is moving with a certain amount of velocity. So obviously, let's say this will have its x component of velocity, there will be a y component of velocity, and there will be a z component of velocity. So this gas molecule, basically it is moving with these components of velocity. Let's say we have this face as A1 and this face as A2. Okay, so when and let's say the length of the gas or vessel is L. So it is a cubical vessel basically. So all these will be basically L. Okay, it's a cubical vessel of length L, of side L rather, and there is a gas molecule. So let's say the mass of this gas molecule, is equal to x. So mass of the gas molecule, let's say take it as m. Okay, now this gas molecule is moving. Let's say this gas molecule strikes A. So when it strikes A, we will take its velocity in the x direction, because this is what is perpendicular. Okay, so it strikes wall A1, that's the area, with velocity Vx. Okay, so understand what is the momentum with which it strikes. Momentum is equal to mvx if m is the mass of the gas molecule. Okay, now this strikes and then again it will reverse back. Okay, so it bounces back with the same velocity in opposite direction, but in opposite direction, which means its velocity now is going to be minus vx. Is this understood? Okay, so it bounces back but with the same velocity. Now why does this happen this way? Because in kinetic theory of gases we have assumed that there are all elastic collisions. Okay, so we have assumed that collisions are elastic. So basically momentum is retained. Okay, so the momentum is retained, which means that it strikes this wall A1 with a velocity vx. After striking, it moves back with the velocity vx. So if we take the velocity of approach as vx, the velocity of separation will be minus vx. Okay, so what is the change in momentum? Change in momentum of gas particle, the change in momentum of the gas particle, this will be equal to, that is P will be equal to mass Vx, right? Now what is the final momentum? mvx this side minus its original momentum, so this is going to be minus 2mvx. Is this understood? Okay, so this will be the final momentum. Okay, now change in momentum of the gas particle is minus 2mvx. Okay, now just understand, it again strikes A2. Now it strikes A2. Okay, another assumption that we are making here is, that it is not colliding with other gas particles. So it is not colliding with other gas particles. So the other assumption that we are making here is that it is not colliding with other gas particles. See, will it not collide? Yes, it will. But yesterday when we were doing kinetic theory of gases, the assumption was that if there is a velocity v, okay, it is colliding with another gas molecule, so its velocity changes. But at the same time, the velocity is taken over by some other particle in that same volume. Okay, that's what we have studied in kinetic theory of gases. In a small volume delta V, if the velocity of a particle is v and supposedly it changes to v dash, there will be another particle which will be moving with the same velocity. So it's like a relay race. You transfer, the person running comes and transfers to the other person who takes off from there. Okay, so it's like a relay race, and we on kinetic theory of gases, we basically study the macroscopic properties, which is basically due to the huge volume of the gaseous particles and not microscopic properties. So we are not taking into consideration the collision with other particles, because ultimately the speed averages out. Okay, so it strikes A2 now, and after striking A2 again it will go back. Okay, so during this, what will be the speed? Vx. So what will be the distance covered? Distance that is covered from A1 to A2. A1 to A2. The distance that is covered from A1 to A2 basically will be equal to 2L. The distance that is covered from A1 to A2 will be 2L. Okay. So now this distance upon, if we measure the speed, then we will get the time. So time taken before the particle strikes A1 again. What is the time taken here? This will be total distance upon speed. Alright, time is a scalar quantity, so it doesn't matter which direction it will be traveling in. So the total distance upon the average speed, that is Vx. Okay, so this is the time taken. So now if we have to basically, so this will be 2L by Vx. So what is the change in momentum? So see, this is a change in momentum of the gaseous particle, right? Of the gaseous particle. This same momentum will be imparted to the wall. So momentum change for the wall. So momentum change for the gaseous particle is minus mvx. So momentum change for the wall will be, So momentum change for the wall delta P dash is equal to plus mvx. See, momentum is imparted. Why? Because again it's an elastic collision. Okay, so the entire momentum is imparted to this one. So this will be 2 mvx. I'm sorry, this is 2 minus mvx. So this is minus 2 mvx. Okay, so this will be plus 2 mvx. Okay, so what is the force experienced by this wall? Force experienced by the wall will be equal to change in momentum upon change in time. Okay, change in momentum upon change in time. Force experienced by this wall is how much? 2 mvx upon change in time. What is the time taken here? Delta t between two collisions. Okay, so this will be 2l by vx. So this 2 and 2 get cancelled. We have here mvx square by l. So this will be the force that is experienced. Okay, is this clear? You can take a snapshot of the derivation till now. The derivation is still not complete, but you can take a snapshot of the same. Okay, okay, we'll move on. Okay, so this is the force basically. Now consider what is Vx square. Okay, so this particle is basically moving with a velocity of v. It has a component Vx along the x-axis, it has a component of Vy along the y-axis, and a component Vz along the z-axis. So v is basically equal to under root of Vx square plus Vy square plus Vz square. Okay, clear? So we can write v square is equal to Vx square plus Vy square plus Vz square. Now basically these all will be equal, the components will be equal. Okay, Vx square is equal to Vy square is equal to Vz square. This is another assumption that we had made in the kinetic theory of gases. They are moving with equal speeds in all directions. So Vx square is equal to V. So we can write here Vx square plus Vx square plus Vx square is equal to v square. So this will be 3vx square is equal to v square. So therefore vx square is going to be v square by 3. Okay, so in this formula, okay, we can put F is equal to m by L. In place of vx square, what can we write? V square by 3. Okay, so this will be basically 1 by 3 m L v square. Okay, so this is the force that is experienced by the wall. Now let's say there are n number of molecules. So let the total number of molecules of the gas in the vessel be n. So what do we have here? What we do is we multiply the numerator and the denominator by n. So what do we get here? 1 by 3 m n by L v square by n. Okay, so now if we happen to add all these, this is one particle. Okay, so adding the force imparted by all the particles, this will be F, okay, is equal to summation of 1 by 3 m n by L v square by n. So these are all constants. See, m n is a constant, L is a constant, 1 by 3 is a constant. So all these will move out. What we do here is we move this out but keep this, and v square will be basically different. So this is what we get as force. Okay, now this part, this sigma v square by n, okay, let me rub this off a little. This sigma v square by n is known as mean square speed. This is known as mean square speed. Okay, so sigma m v square by n is known as mean square speed. Okay, so what do we have now? This entire thing. Okay, so this is basically written as v square, bar v square. Okay, we will understand what is basically bar v square. Okay, so here we can write 1 by 3 m n l. Okay, this will be bar v square. Or what we can do is we can directly write the RMS velocity. V RMS, basically root mean square velocity, is under root of v square sigma by n. So V RMS square is equal to sigma v square by n. So this is called the root mean square velocity, VRMS. Okay, root mean square velocity. This part is known as the root mean square velocity. Okay, so we can make the changes here. So what do we have here? Force is equal to 1 by 3 mn by L. In place of this entire thing, what can we write here? V RMS square, root mean square velocity. Now this m into n basically means the mass of the entire gas, mass of one particle, and there are n number of particles in the gas. Okay, so we can write mass of entire gas, let's say we denote it by capital N, is equal to mn. So this can be written as 1 by 3 m by L V RMS square. So what will be the pressure experienced by A1? This will be force, pressure will be force upon area. That's going to be 1 by 3 m by L V RMS square upon L square. Okay, so what do we have here? 1 by 3, this will become m L cube V RMS square. Okay, so force can be basically written. So look at this. What is this basically? This is mass and this is volume. Okay, so can we write it as density? Density 1 by 3 density RMS square. Force can be written like this. So this is the first expression that we have. So sorry, I'm talking about pressure here. So this is pressure. Okay, pressure is equal to 1 by 3 density RMS square. This is the first thing that we can write. Okay, if we need to express it by density by volume, then we can write. So let's say if I happen to multiply this by V, both sides. Okay, so what do we have here? Pressure into V will be 1 by 3 density into volume V RMS square. Now what is density into volume? Basically density is volume into volume is nothing but mass of the gas, the entire mass of the gas. Okay, so we have here PV is equal to 1 by 3. We can write this as entire mass of the gas. Okay,